Yo, what is up, guys? You know it. Welcome back to another video on my channel. So today is gonna be another Fortnite tutorial. Before I get into anything, like my background. Well, I made that background. If you want me to make you a logo, I totally will. Let me know. But that's beside the point. My point is that logo is for a logo for a robotics team that I'm in. We basically are part of First Tech Challenge. If you know what that is, then you definitely should check out the channel below. And this video is about Fortnite, but I just want to put that down there. So if you're interested in robotics, robots, whatever, robotic clubs, then go ahead and check that out down below. But this video is about Fortnite, like I just said. But today, we're gonna be talking about two ideas that I had combined. And one of those ideas was console versus PC. More, you know, if you want to get detailed, it's pretty much controller versus keyboard and mouse. And then my other idea was what is the best controls for whichever is the best, you know. So let's say, and I'm not going to tell you which is the best yet. I will tell you which is the best. It's subjective, but factually, and you might do better on controller. You might get so many kills on controller, but you do trash on keyboard and mouse. That's how it's subjective, but there's actual facts and actual things that are better for one that isn't better for the other. But I am going to show you at the end of the video which one I think is better and what are the best controls on it. So I'm mixing those two ideas into this video. Hope you enjoy it. If you do, of course, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below what you think is the best, because I would like to know, or if this helped you, and what controls you use. Other than that, let's get right into the video. Alright, so first we are going to be talking about the keyboard. So I'm going to go ahead and get a video of the keyboard. So as you can see, this is my keyboard right here. It's pretty good. You know, it kind of lights up. It's not super expensive, but yet it's not really cheap either. It's just a good keyboard, reliable keyboard. And here's the thing, I use keyboard and mouse. So you might think, okay, you use keyboard and mouse, you're gonna say keyboard and mouse. No. But obviously we're starting with keyboard. What are the pros of it? Well, this is my, normal layout. This is how I put my hand, like this. What is better with keyboard, and I will tell you this, is looting. You can just spam E, you can loot so quick. You can strafe, you don't know what strafe is, that is using WASD, W-A-S-D, and kind of moving around with it, kind of like that. I can move around with it, I can crouch with Q, I can tab with that, and yes, on controller, you have to hold down the stick and keep it hold down when you're sprinting. On this, you can just go, W. Obviously, you have to hold W down. But I can go tab, and then boom, it just keeps going forward. So keyboard definitely adds to the value of keyboard and mouse. I'll get to the mouse in a second. There's my mouse, pretty nice. But yeah, so as you said, you can do space and everything. And it's, I don't know, it's just, you can loot and you can switch items. You can do things and switch around much quicker, in my opinion. But I think that it's pretty much true as a keyboard. Next, we're gonna be getting into mouse. Now, it's best if you have a gaming mouse, or at least a mouse with buttons on the side like mine, not just a standard mouse. But it's fine. It really doesn't matter. But as you can see, here's my mouse pad. I do need a bigger mouse pad. But here's my mouse. Now, there is definitely cons to having a mouse. But there's pros, but there is cons as well. And here's some of the pros. So, as you see, I have these buttons on the side, like I mentioned. Literally, I hit this, and it goes to my building option. Instead of hitting Q or having to hit another button, or having to hit, like I think it's X on, or no, it's Y or something, whatever it is, on controller, I can literally just, I'm fighting, build, boom, 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 build, instead of, fighting, and then Q, like, the normal computer controls, or having to hit another button. It's just literally so natural right there. And then this is my push to talk button when I have push to talk on, and this is my scroll, this is my shooting, and this is that. Now, here is the problem with mouse, okay? Now, I'm sure if I had like a very good mouse, like a $200 mouse, then it would be so good, right? But I don't. I have a good mouse, but I don't have, a super expensive mouse. Most people are not going to have one, and even if they did, I think controller would still be better in this area. And that is basically that when you move around, it's harder to be accurate, okay? And as far as shooting goes, I mean, it's kind of the same, kind of like that. But it's harder to be accurate on the mouse because, look, you have this 360 place to move right here. You have this 360, and you could scroll up. But here's what you have with controller. Now, with controller, you have 2 axes. You have 2 places to move. You have the look, and then you have the actual moving. And that makes it so much better to be more accurate, okay? Because you have two, you know what I mean? Like, you have 2 points to move, right? You do not just have one 360 point on the mouse. You have 2 points to move. So that's the big thing with controller. Another thing with controller, is that shooting is, like, again, so much better. And these buttons right here make it so much easier to switch items. Now, okay, this might seem kind of contradicting because I said, oh, you can switch items and all that so quick on here. I'm talking about looting, I'm talking about drinking items, you know, organizing your inventory. But as far as going from one item to the other, it's a bit harder in here because you just have this scroll wheel right here, right? You can only go forward and then back, forward and then back, and then you have to program your mouse correctly so it doesn't, like, you know, so it doesn't, if you just do this once, it doesn't, like, go to a whole different item that you don't want. Here, though, one item, you know, one item. So that is much easier on control, but I think really, really the big thing is you have this to move around and all of that. So the next thing we're gonna be talking about is what do you know, streamers and YouTubers use? All right, so streamers and YouTubers do use keyboard and mouse. They do. So obviously not all of them, but some of the biggest players are usually computer and mouse, and that is for one thing. Yes, I mentioned you have these, you know, you can move it, you know, you have 2 places to move on the controller, yet you just have one place to move on the mouse. But here's the thing. If I'm the best Fortnite player in the world, I would 100% choose computer because of the keyboard. Now, again, I just said, you know, it sounds contradicting. I just said it's so much easier to aim on the Xbox, but that's really just for beginners. For people who are very, very experienced and, you know, play this game hours a day, they can, trust me, they know how to aim. They have huge mouse pads, and they have mouses that probably can get, you know, as much as, you know, accurate as a controller. Although I think a controller is so much more accurate. People can usually choose keyboard and mouse over console because of the keyboard and because they're so good that, you know, the little plus of having 2 points to move doesn't really affect them because they're so good at the game. Alright, so I said as far as shooting goes, the Xbox is better. But as far as moving around, building, shooting, you know, shooting, blah blah, it is keyboard and mouse. You can switch to so many different things super quick. You know, you can do all of that. You can, you know, build, boom boom, brrr, you can switch so much easier. You can build so much easier, and it is so much, like, it's just so much quicker on keyboard and mouse. If you are a beginner, I would use console. But if you're looking to get in game or YouTube videos, I would do computer. So if you want to put it that way, for the best of the best, play on computer, and usually the best of the best at this game, at least, do not play controller. I would say keyboard and mouse, but not 100%. But I'm going to controls for the keyboard and mouse that you need to use. So let's get into that. Alright, what is up, guys? I'm gonna throw my keyboard on the board right now. Alright, here is the controls that you want to do. So you're gonna be in a video, and you are going to want to go to input. So we're gonna go to input, and here are all the controls. Now, you do not want to mess with the first couple. You know, you got move forward, WASD, or WSDA, whatever you want to call it. Do not mess with those controls. Please don't. You do not need to. You can mess with that. Space bars, jump, no, that is so easy. Fire, left mouse button, target, right mouse button. You do not want to mess with that. You can mess with reload. You can mess with use. I personally don't. You can mess with building, edit, rotate building. We can mess with R. Sprint. Now, sprint is default. It is shift. I would not use shift. Obviously you can, you know. But for me, and I think the easiest, it's not to use shift. Because look, you have to, here's how it goes, and then you have to put it down like that versus that. That versus that. Like, what is, tab is easier. So I would make a tab, and you know, if you want to make a tab, you can just click on it and then press any key. So I'm gonna press tab, and boom, it is tab. It was already tab, but you get the point. So now we're going down, blah, 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 weapon slot, 1, 2, 3. You don't want to mess with any of that. You don't mess with any of that, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here's a couple things you might want to mess with, but obviously you don't have to. Is toggle map. Now map default is so bad. It's M. All right, when the storm's super close, dude, you have to hit map real quick, and you know you're on your sprint key, and you're holding down W. You do not want to come over and hit M. Okay, so that is why I have all of my controls within this area, and obviously the space is over here, which it is. I'm not gonna make jump like C or something, which honestly wouldn't be too bad. But regardless, I have all of my controls right here. This is map, forward, right, backwards, left, pick up, and then inventory is over here, but it's like it's not too much of a hassle. I could make it F or R or C, but it's not too much of a hassle. I mean, I could probably will change it at some point. But yeah, so I have like that, and then I have crouch. Well, I'll tell you what crouch is in a second. But yeah, I literally just have like this. Like none of the buttons over here do anything all the way up to like right here. So I wouldn't, dude. You just don't need to have map here. You don't need to have tab here. You need shift. Sprint there. You just have it right here, and that is where I do it. But anyways, we're moving. Crouch. Crouch is default control. So if you are playing with sprint as shift, I would keep shift and the control by each other, because that is nice. You have them two down here, and you can put your hands right here and your finger right there and right there. But I find it much easier. Just Q. Now if you have a good mouse, then you won't need to use Q for building. I'll get to that in a second as well, but literally it's just forward, right, backwards, forward, left, backwards, right. Pick up. Only thing over here, inventory, crouch, sprint, jump. It's like so simple, versus forward, left, backwards, right, pick up, inventory, map, sprint, crouch, so sorry about that, but so it's so much easier. And yeah, they did just add auto run. You couldn't use it if you want, but I don't know, it's not too much. Push to talk, left mouse button if I have it off, which I usually don't. And then last thing for today is a building. So hold up, where is that? Okay, apparently I cannot spell. It doesn't really matter. But basically, building for me is this button right here. It builds, and boom, I can build really quick and all that. So it is so much easier than hitting Q, and now I opened Q to crouch. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this video.